A Labour MP admitted that he once mistakenly ate biscuits intended for the Queen's corgis after a meal at Windsor Castle. The Queen is readying to spend the rest of the year in celebration of reaching her landmark Platinum Jubilee. She officially observed her 70th year on the throne in February, but given the enormity of the anniversary, events and activities will take place throughout the rest of 2022. They include a 4-day bank holiday and a raft of ventures Britons up and down the country can take part in. Many have noted how amazing an achievement it is for the Queen to have reached her 70th year on the throne, given the events of recent decades. Not only has she been witness to scandal, tragedy, divorce, and the splitting of her grandson from the firm, she has also endured the tragic passing of her lifelong husband, Prince Philip. Her reign has been marked by excellence and quality, but has not been without its occasional hitch, as set out by Robert Hardman, a royal author, in his new book, Queen of Our Times. Revealing the more comical side of royal life, he recalled an incident involving Alan Johnson, a cabinet minister who was health secretary when he visited the Queen in 2008, who had travelled to Windsor Castle for lunch. Mr. Johnson made the visit with then Welsh Secretary Paul Murphy, a day after the Diana inquest returned a verdict of unlawful killing. It was not until after the meal that Mr. Johnson realised that he had in fact been eating biscuits intended for the Queen's corgis. Mr. Hardman relays a conversation had between the two ministers post-meal. The two cabinet ministers left in high spirits. We were waiting for our cars and Paul said, "What a wonderful meal." I said, "I loved it. I loved every minute of it." As they discussed the food, Johnson mentioned that he had particularly enjoyed the cheese and the unusual dark biscuits. Paul said, "No, the dark biscuits were for the corgis." At that point it suddenly dawned on him that he had been munching away on dog snacks. I don't think it had cheese with a Poniard biscuit before. The pair had both attended a Privy Council meeting before being invited to stay for lunch with the Queen. The newspapers at the time were full of the latest news on the Diana inquest. After 94 days in court and hearing 278 witnesses, Mr. Johnson told Mr. Hardman he thought he should steer well clear of the subject of the inquest. The jury found that the death was an unlawful killing, citing chauffeur Henri Paul's gross negligence and the speed and manner of the pursuing paparazzi. In the book, Mr. Johnson adds, "We talked about whatever was in the news, and the dominant news was about Diana. Paul and I thought we'd better keep off the subject. But the Queen talked about it in the most frank way, about how the thing had run and run and run." He said he and Mr. Murphy were seated either side of the Queen, while the rest of the table was full up with army people. Mr. Johnson said they had some easy-going chat over drinks in the grand reception room before the mood became even livelier at the table. He told Mr. Hardman, "At lunch, we had a whale of a time. She was good company. It was as if you had known her for years. Obviously, there were the caveats that you understood. You don't put your arm on her shoulder and say, 'Let me tell you,' and so on." He added that the conversation was perfectly natural and pleasant, and that the Queen happily fed snacks to the corgis while they spoke.